Humans are complicated creatures. We are made in the image of God, and that alone is an idea that you can wrestle with for decades, unpacking every element of what that means. However, even if we don't delve into the theological realm, it becomes inherently obvious after more than 5 minutes of talking that we are different. Some people are talkative, some are not. Some people notice colors, others notice smells. Each human is an infinitely complex being that is filled with infinitely complex thoughts and emotions, formed by an intricate system of perception of experiences that informs and is informed by that very same set of thoughts and emotions, which is simultaneously informed by both biology and spirit. And so, when confronted with a problem, while many people will point to one particular solution, there will be just as many people who point to a myriad of different other solutions. Further, even within a group that points to the same solution, there is no scenario where the journey to that solution is the same for each person. I think that this fact is something that gets lost on most people. H.P. Lovecraft wrote in the first chapter of Call of Cthulhu, "The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents." Lovecraft is definitely not a model of human excellence, nor someone to emulate. However, he has a point in that we cannot hold all things in balance. We are finite. We are mortal. We are small in the grand scheme of things. And really, we cannot remember or account for everything. This is why cognitive dissonance is so common, as well as hypocrisy and everything else of that nature. So, what's the point? Well, in short, sometimes when you are working on something, a lot of energy is going to be wasted, and I'm here to tell you that that's okay. In my personal life, I have been struggling to improve, well, everything about me. I've been struggling to improve my art, I've been struggling to improve storytelling, and I've been hoping and trying to push myself into a scenario where I could make things as I have been harping on about for the past multiple years. Anyone who has followed me or the Poets at Work Creative Network will know that I think we should be making really, really good things. I think we should be investing time and energy into art, and I think we should be building these things not just in terms of mass quantity, but in terms of extremely high quality. And that high quality thing has, in the past, held me back. So I wish to improve myself. How do I do that? Well, I don't know still. Recently, I discovered 2 YouTubers in an attempt to improve my artistic skill. One is an artist by the name of Vale, who does a lot of digital painting and has some tutorials on his channel on his personal art journey. Warning, his content is somewhat graphic, but the actual discussions of how he improves are relatively tame. And then the other one is a German man, by the name of Draw Like a Sir. He, among other things, has a comic that he draws, and he has a number of great tutorials as well. And both of these guys have really good-looking artwork, and so I wanted to try to study them. At the same time, I also picked up a book at the suggestion of a friend, called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And I basically read that cover to cover. It took a little while, but I did it. Now, when it comes to me, how am I going to use this? What am I going to do? How will I combine these things together to make the perfect improvement regime? Well, I didn't. It doesn't take much for somebody who has looked at Vale's 6-month improving art routine to realize that what Vale did was he unknowingly, or possibly knowingly, leveraged the idea of deep work to improve his artistic abilities at a rapid rate. However, what he does, he emphasizes, worked for him, and he also emphasizes that each person needs to find out the best way they learn. This ties back to what I said at the beginning, where every human is different, and we all have different things that work or don't work. So, what do I have to do? Why have I been struggling to do what he did? Sure, some of it is time, but that can't all be it. I have a difficult time focusing. Surely I need to find a way of improving my focus so that I can sit down and just draw without distraction. Well, yes and no. I have obligations to my family. There are some days when I don't get home until 5 o'clock and I leave at 6 a.m. Well, 7 a.m. Leave at 7 a.m. and I'm not home until 5. So what do? I can't bring my work with me because I am working at a retail store. Well, in short, I have to make the most of my time when I'm at home. But when I'm at home, I also need to make sure that I am with my family, and I need to make sure that our house doesn't fall apart. But even then, even with all those excuses, the reality is that I have a lot of time that I spend not improving. I have a lot of wasted time, and that bothers me. So how do I improve that? How do I stop that? Well, I don't know. To a certain degree, I heard some things from a guy by the name of Adam. He is a YouTube channel called Lucid Pixel, and he had a very heartfelt video where he talks about how to remove friction in your life. And it's something that I've heard before as well, and that is, if you have a messy space, you are more likely to have, well, a messy mind. And this is something that I think is true, if for no other reason than it connects us to the real world. The fact of the matter is, we are not just logical minds, and we're not just emotional beings, or we're not just things floating around inside bodies. We're not dualists. The material world affects us, and we affect the material world. So it makes sense that if we have a messy and cluttered space, our thoughts would be messy and cluttered. To that end, I expect that if one finds one's work to be difficult, that one should make sure that they are working in a clean environment. Not clean as in sanitary, necessarily, but an organized. Something that gives them the ability to work without looking down and seeing just a pile of stuff. The mental strain of that, even if they don't acknowledge it, is going to be there. Similarly, we also have to think about our souls. I need to think about my soul. I need to invest time in the Word. I hear that every time one invests time in the Word, that they actually seem to be able to get that time back. God is gracious. And so, what you give to Him, He will, in a way, give back to you, even if you don't know what exactly that will look like. The last thing that I think is important is that while having goals and pushing through difficulty is a part of the artistic life, there will be times when you won't want to do something, but you will be obligated to fulfill, well, the obligation in order to complete whatever commission or whatever promise you made. You also need to make sure that you take time to do the thing that you enjoy. This isn't meant to be a do what you want speech, obviously. Rather, sometimes we need to be reminded for why we enjoy doing what we do. And ultimately, God is the one who will give and take away your desires. So feel free to pursue your desire, but also try to make sure you are doing so while at the same time remembering the one who made you and the one who gave you that desire in the first place. And now, to wrap everything up, why is this important to us? Why is the fact that people are complicated and every experience is different? Because no matter what you do, you're always going to have to add extra work. There isn't a magic bullet. There's no magic pen that will help you write better. There's no magic formula that will help you be able to write the perfect story. There is no magic regime. You can't just copy what someone does and expect to get the same results as they did. You are a different person. Your mind operates in a different way. You have different desires. You will ultimately arrive at a destination that is different from the person you wish to emulate. Does that mean that you should not try to learn from them? Of course not. If anything, it means you need to learn from them more. Because in order for you to get to where you want to go, you have to pull in more experiences. And so drawing from the experiences and trying different things is the only way for you to find out what works. But when you try different things, in trying those different things, you are going to waste energy. You are going to spend time on things that do not work. And that is okay, because in spending time on the things that don't work, you are learning what doesn't work, and you are learning how you work, which is really what needs to happen for an artist to create. They need to be able to know how they work. Because while you can spend time creating, ultimately that verb has to end. You have to finish something. If you just infinitely start projects but never finish them, that's fine, I guess. It's all well and good. But there's nothing to show for it. You need to eventually put down your pen and say, this is done, even if you don't like it. Good luck, everybody.